fighting a team fight. So that said, like, you want a 4-man with the rest of your heroes. And Elder Titans, I guess you can kind of 4-man and whatnot. Puck is going to be the last pickup here for Team Tinker, and Abaddon actually for Team Empire. Lots of team fight early on here coming out from Empire.
Yeah, I'm a little like the Abaddon pickup. Usually you see that in direct response to heroes like the Marana.
For battle. And
just looking through, I mean, what Tinker's going to be able to bring, I mean, certainly, you know, a Photic Shield's going to be able to help you out in a lot of situations, but it's not as big of pauses continues, and, never mind. Awesome. Hopefully that'll be the last one, as we had a 40-minute game that basically took, what, probably 60 minutes, 70 minutes last time. So, Empire fighting for their chance to advance to meet Snaw. All they need is one win here. Team Tinker here in Game 2, fighting with their backs to the wall. It's win or go home time for them. No room for error, and we'll see if they can dig deep and find what they need. Taking a look at who's handling who. Beginning with Tinker, it'll be Bulba playing on the Elder Titan. He is a very well-known Elder Titan player, so happy to see him instead of a Rise on that hero this time. Koikvo will be farming the Terror Blade. It's going to be Sing Sing on the Corvino. He set up shop in mid, but pulled a couple of tangos with a Wraith Band. EGM going to be handling the Rubik, and Arise this time around playing on the Puck. Other side of the river, going to be Yoki playing on the Tide. He's setting up shop out in the off lane. We'll see if this is going to be a dual lane, as Aloha, who is standing in today, is currently keeping an eye on the rune, so he could end up making his way back down. Always Want to Fly will be on our Witch Doctor. It's going to be another stand-in. We're going to call him What.
The battle
What
begins.
is here, playing on the Slark, and in mid it'll be Silent on the Storm Spirit. Regen rune spotted bottom by Bulba, and Slark takes out the bounty ring up the top.
Yep, and it is going to be a support ET, played by Bulba, who is a very fantastic Elder Titan player, and I think this is just much more appropriate, having the Elder Titan as a support, or as a 4 rather than as a 3. I think it makes more sense for the reasons I outlined earlier. Arise is going to be offlane on the Puck, saving some gold, which I think is a little bit interesting. Maybe he wants a fast bottle in this lane, although I don't think he's going to farm too much.
They don't have a courier.
You're right.
They don't have a courier.
Oh boy.
LOL.
Daisy. I'm glad you spotted that out because I wasn't looking, but so
No,
as far as this fast bottle coming out for Rice, not going to happen. Unless he wants to walk back.
What is... I've never seen this.
I mean, EGM bought a lot of regen, and Bulba bought boots, so there was clearly some miscommunication here. EGM also is not going to get the connect pull because this connect pull is actually warded. And so this is going to be a lot of farm and pushed up lane here coming out for these offlaners of Empire, which is both Tidehunter and the Abaddon. So this is going to be miserably bad here for Team Tinker.
Yeah, here comes EGM. He's hoofing it back to base.
They're missing all their CS in lane. Like, if you watch their
game of this series, we'll do it after this. Or if Tinker manages to tie it, there won't be a giveaway following this game, but there will be after game 3. So make sure you follow on all 3 of those Twitter handles, and we'd love to give you some chats if you keep up with it. And of course, I give them out verbally as well for those who don't like social medias. I know many don't. We are back underway though, and finally, a courier is down.
Yep, courier is down. So EGM's got that going for him at this point. Honestly, because the pole is blocked, he should start maybe for the next 30 seconds, or for the next time the creep spawn is pull right here, is do the Rubik pull. It's very easy to do, and it's actually very effective. And like I said, because they don't have the sentries up, like he just spent his gold, he's not going to have sentries up anytime soon. And even if he did, it's going to take too long to actually deward this, but he's not going to go for this pull because he needs to be there like right now. So it's kind of unfortunate. Oh no, sorry, I'm talking out of my ass because he did buy sentries. Yep. I just assumed he didn't have them, but we'll see if he can get this correctly. Places it. It is actually out of range.
Oh.
All right, we'll see. Try number 2. Try number 2, and no, don't do it there. Don't do it, please.
Oh.
I really wanted to get this.
Oh.
We'll see. I'm very curious to see if he actually gets this.
Where are you gonna put it? No! Oh my God! Poor Team Tinker. Everything has gone brutally wrong here in the early game.
They really needed it right then, too, because they had to get it before the 3-minute mark. Oh, that's so bad.
Oh, man. This has just been a complicated day Empire playing well, but can't keep anyone connected to the damn game. And Tinker not playing so great. And going from bad to worse. Well, we're still at 0-0. But, I mean, this is just so brutal for them. And Quakefa, you know, I checked that. Quakefa is getting some decent CS. He's caught back up to 10, and against the Tidehunter, that's really not bad. But Tidehunter with 2 points in the Anchor Smash could be much, much worse for him. So, just, you know, especially when you consider the pulls aren't happening. They did get a stack on here on the easy camp, so at least they'll be able to get something under control a little bit more. But, God, what a rough first 5 minutes for Team Tinker.
Yeah, the worst thing is that they're just losing this laning phase. All of that pulling and not buying Courier aside, like top is getting pummeled. 3 CS for Arise, whereas 24 for the Slark. Mid lane's being won, which is actually kind of interesting. I know Storm is fantastic in mid, but I feel like Venomancer, he's not going for the Gale build, and actually doesn't even have 1 point into the Gale if they did want to gank for him. Silence, he get dove here. Yeah, he should get dove here by EGM.
Yep. Go. Let's watch Storm Spirit die real quick. And there's a lift.
Oh, yeah.
And down it goes. First blood draw. Always when a fly's going to be there to try to turn this around. Very nice Echo Stomp from Bulba, though. Is going to buy EGM just enough time to scurry away. So good play there. Bulba was rotating up, was not going to be able to be a part of the kill, but was there to slow down the response. And that's a nice way to start it for Team Tinker.
Yep. TP comes back in from Storm, who's still farming better than the Venomancer, actually. But obviously that first blood going for EGM is very important, because one, he had to buy the Courier late, bought sentries, didn't get anything out of it, but now he will have boots because of that kill. So he desperately, if anyone needed a first blood, it was EGM, that's for sure.
Arise in the meantime, trying to do what he can up here. And wow, always want to fly, just got to kill him mid. I saw him rotating. I didn't think he was going to be able to secure the kill, but such as it is, it's 1-1. Empire immediately answers.
Yep, well, Storm was 6, and Witch Doctor was already around the area because he TP'd down there earlier to try to save Silent. And that was just Venomancer just not respecting the level 6 from Storm, who's got 2 points in Electric Vortex. I do like the max overload build, but this is still fine. It gives you a little bit more duration on your pull and a little bit more control.
And continuing to take a fairly decent amount of farm. And at bottom, things continue to not go great. Quakefa has managed to crawl himself up into the top 4 in terms of farm. Wow, are they just going to call it?
I don't know. Maybe that was a misclick of his chat wheel.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess so. Is under attack.
Awkward.
Yeah. I was gonna say, surely not. I mean, if they were, it would have been over connection issues or whatever. But at any rate, yeah, it doesn't look like any.
You would hope for a sorry misclick or something like that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm Team Tinker, I'm like, what the hell? What's going on?
Yep, exactly. Not going to be the case. They got Dota to play, so they don't have to explain themselves. 1-1, and still Empire coming out quite far ahead here in this laning phase. EGM does have a haste, though, and might end up making a run at Silent or potentially at top to make something happen. Right now, he's actually just kind of going back and forth, not getting a whole lot accomplished.
Well, I wonder if this has something to do with it, but I always want to fly. I suspect he might disconnect again because he's just been sitting in base for quite some time now, actually, after that kill in mid. So, kind of unfortunate. Probably just, dare I say, the dreaded D word, but I mean, this kind of looks like what it is. You just kind of keep coming in and out, and I don't know, whatever it is, he's not playing right now, and it's kind of hurtful to Team Empire.
Well, somebody's gonna watch the Ancient. It's called Defense of the Ancients, man.
Yeah. Well, he is defending. Well, he's defending his well quite nicely. I'll say
yeah, exactly. You just have to smoke with the shopkeeper. It's
Couldn't
fine.
you kill the well in Dota 1? I think you could, actually.
Yep, you can kill the fountain. Well, let's see if Team Tinker wants to capitalize on this. And what Empire can do. Down a man. And, you know, if there's any bright spot, I guess, for Empire, it is that even though they're down a man as of right now, at least it would seem so. Even though they're down a man, they do have a team. Oops, Slark just got a kill, actually. Didn't you see how that happened? But even though they're down a man, it is against a Terra player who does take some time to come online. So maybe they get something working. I don't know.
Well, that kill definitely should not have happened onto the Puck. The only reason that Puck can die against this Slark is he orbs aggressively when Slark is in range for a pounce. That's pretty much the only way I see him actually dying. So unfortunately for Arise, he misplayed that. And the stand-in, what is here? Who I'm gonna...
Guy practically failed out of college and lived on my couch for 6 months because he loved Halo 2 that much at the end. There's actually a lot more to that, but that's the TLDR of it all. So it is going to be a 5 versus 4, and this is miserable. I hate this. And we're actually going to see a two-man gang, two-man smoke. Always want to fly. Right there with him. There's going to be the vortex, the micro there. Yep, there's the cast to come out. And the follow-on Sing is there. Always want to fly. Will be caught with the Echo Stomp. They're going to get 2 out of this, almost guaranteed. Just enough mana for Silent to zip back under his own tier 1, and Aloha Dance was there to buy him some time. But Tinker, nonetheless, gives up 1 and gets 1 back.
Yeah, it ends up being a 1-for-1. The disconnected Witch Doctor for the core Venom. It's an obviously favorable trade for Empire. They also rotated people in for Team Tinker. And Slark is getting his farm on. And has something on the Courier. It's actually just running around up here. Maybe he wants to Bottle Crow for himself. Which is weird because he's got almost full mana. And he's Slark, which means he can regen naturally in Fog. So, interesting for him. Sing Sing actually TP's top to hold down the lane and hold down the fort up top and give some farm and levels to the Puck, which is being played by Arise. But they have this Terrorblade, which is great, but they haven't really pressured any lanes. Where is he farming, actually? Is he in the jungle still? Yep. He's just off in the jungle, giving some farm to EGM.
Koikva, 58 CS. Still waiting to see what his build's going to be. Up the top, there's going to be a dive on the Sing. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And this is what we were talking about leading into things is, excuse me, my goodness. I always step away from the mic. Sometimes I get a little scratchy coming back. But anyway, the Terrorblade can't really do much for a while. I mean, he can farm, he can split push whenever the opportunity presents itself. But Empire just has so much damn mobility. Especially once Yoki manages to get a blink up. He's already got his arcs and 1,400 gold BT dubs on his way to whatever he wants next. He did pick up a Ring of Protection as well as a Bassi too, so who knows what he's going to end up building out. I think Blink's the right choice. But between Pounce, between the Ball Lightning from the Storm Spirit, and so on and so on, Empire's just going to be able to continue to pressure them. And it takes a long time, even for a well-farmed Terrorblade, to really come online at this level. So I think they can afford to just continue to dive everyone but him for a little while, or they can just go ahead and dedicate all of their time and efforts to killing him over and over.
EGM's so dead. There's a blink on the Slark, actually. 10 minutes with treads. He gets pounced on, and there's nothing he can do. Tries to get a lift onto Yoki to stop the bleeding just a little bit, but couldn't help. And they're actually using the disconnected Witch Doctor to stack Ancients for the Tide. It's now a triple stack for him. Yeah, why not?
Under attack.
And this is pretty much just a casual... Oh, I missed that kill, but Stormspear gets a solo one up on the top. This is,
middle tower is under
I don't want to say embarrassing, but not good at all for Team Tinker.
It's
they don't even need the Witch Doctor to just trample over him like this.
No, they're going to get a tower in mid, so it's not as if they're just tearing their hair out. But they're going to end up trading. I don't know, with meta up, Koikva's build, max meta.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Going right to work on the tier 2. They have a glyph if they want to use
structures are fortified.
And Arise going to spin the coil on Yoki. It's solo coil. And somebody did come in. That's Bulba. And Yoki should end up dead here. And there will be an Echo Stomp. Slark comes back in. There's going to be the Ravage. And suddenly what looked like a sure kill becomes a 2-0 turnaround. And I'll say this. Between the Mist Courier, the Forgotten Courier rather, Mist Wards, you're getting beat 8-2 by a team that can't keep but 4 players in. I would not imagine the voice communication software, whatever channel they're in, whatever it's on, is a very pleasant place to be right now for Team Tinker.
I would agree with that statement. Definitely. If anything, if they're probably even saying anything at all. At this point, when games get like this, usually it's just silence.
Yep.
Usually it's just like, oh, I'm
Dire's
dead.
top tower is under attack.
Been there. It's not a fun...
Stay in the trees. I told you to stay in the trees.
Yeah. It's going to be a quad stack if stacked correctly here for the Tide, who already is doing well with a Blink Dagger. I don't think anyone else can really farm that. Yeah, it has to be the Tide, basically. But that's going to be on his way to a 4-staff, and then probably a refresher after that.
Yep.
Witch Doctor, he's just fine with a cask. And if he can get level 6 too, if someone... And honestly, it's not that hard to micro him if you're playing, for instance, the Abaddon. Because Abaddon doesn't really do that much ananyway. I mean, yeah, you want to be on top of your game with dispelling things with shield, but once that's done, and once you pre-apply the shield, you can pretty much put your focus on the Witch Doctor.
And Rise, dead again. Bulma tried to show up and help, but a hasted Slark. And now he's going to be re-engaged upon... Oh, this is brutal. That's the second time those two heroes have died right next to each other. Another double kill. Fed to the stand-in. And looks like things could get nasty at top. Aloha has eyes on EGM. EGM did manage to get his hands on a Aquatic Shield. Here comes Quickplay. He's going to be able to output a ton of damage. But borrowed time tends to help still. Lift from EGM, and finally, some kind of an answer for Team Tinker, but not the answer they need or want. They need to start killing these cores. They need to get something working. They need to get something going for themselves, and they damn well need to stop this Slark, who is once again a stand-in, but is sitting at 8,500 net worth and is just dominating this game. 6-0-1 for him, nearly 100 CS at short of 15 minutes in.
Well, Koikwa does have a good farm. He's got his Yasha on the courier, and it's actually flying away from him. He's like, yo, bring me back my Yasha. He's not picking it. There you go. All right, now he's got his Yasha. And I've seen games like this, though. I know you have, too, because we've casted them together in the Eastern scene, where it looked completely grim for one team, even with the Terrorblade not being the top farmer, but this hero is still just trampled over if given the right opportunity.
Yep.
There is an Invis here onto the Slark.
And
Slark was picked up, I would say, specifically for this Terrorblade, because you can't really sunder a Slark, and you can't really put damage onto a hero that has the Shadow Dance active. So it is a great tool against specifically the Terrorblade. So we'll have to see how the integration or interaction happens.
Yep, misplay there. Still gonna get killed. At least one. There's gonna be a Ravage that caught 4. And a coil to follow. EGM still manages to make it around the bend before he dies, but Sing Sing there to try to answer. Slark does end up giving his own body, so they lose 2 for 1. It was a nice Ravage, but a total misplay in terms of overall execution. They give up 3. And now, in a situation like this, against the Terrorblade, now with Sing Sing having his Midas up, and more than anything, how about only having 4 players in the game at any given moment? You can't afford to be giving up any kind of momentum like that. Big win for Team Tinker.
Yeah, that was just very ambitious by the Slark to go in like that. And I don't think that they were expecting the Rubik to have the Aquatic Shield, which really trumped their plans. He was able to cast it on himself twice throughout that. He doesn't have it right now because he still died in the end, but it mitigated a lot of time from Team Empire. Like, they wasted a lot more time to get that 1 kill. Yep. Whereas it could have been just wham bam, thank you ma'am, kill him, get out, maybe get another kill with the Ravage, but because they spent so much time trying to cut through the damage, or the HP of EGM with that double Aquatic Shield, they weren't able to make it as clean. And now he picks up he's actually able to steal the Ball Lightning.
Yep.
Which is one of the better spells in the game for Rubik to steal. He basically has initiation now.
Now we'll see how they want to play it out. That definitely didn't make a big... I mean, saying it made a dent is such an understatement. It cut the lead down by more than half in both metrics. So Yoki is getting some work done over on the Ancients for the moment. Will be caught with an Echo Stomp. And Empire, I still think, is in decent position, but they just cannot afford to give up any more than they already have. The Terrorblade, as you said, we've seen it, man. We have seen it with our own eyes more times than you can count on one hand in D2L Eastern play alone. A game that looks like it's totally under control just hits a certain point, 35, 40 minutes, and suddenly, are they seriously arguing? Is that like, yeah. I think they're arguing. Anyway, but we've seen, you hit that point, and what looks to be a game that's well in hand just becomes a complete smash fest for whatever side happens to have the TB.
Yeah, I actually would have liked to see the Slark gone for a Midas this game. Like, considering his amazing start, he could have got it and still had it paid for itself very, very quickly. I will say, though, that because he did buy the blink fast, he did get a kill right away off of it. If you remember, he got the blink, went bottom, and immediately got it, which is great. Action mid, as with the new freshly purchased blink dagger from Arise. able to get a nice pickoff onto the Storm, who just bought his Orchids too.
Dire's
So
middle tower
not the
is
end of the
under
world
attack.
for Storm, but
Radiant's
still
top
quite
tower is
annoying.
under attack.
And Slark actually misplayed that again.
Dig that.
It looks like he's having some issues. I don't know if it's lag, packet loss, or what, but that's the second time that we've seen just a total misplay out of the stand-in, who is on our Slark, who early on was really just playing immaculately.
Yeah, well, Rubik does have the zip, so I don't think he can kill him at all. How much longer does he have this, by the way? It's probably going to fade in about a minute. Hopefully he can able to steal that again. Other than that, obviously Ravage is fantastic steal. The casks are great. We saw the Aphotic Shield just being fantastic for him, so it's hard to find Rubik games where it's actually there aren't good spells to steal.
Silent, as you mentioned, finished his Orchid, and now making his way down to bottom. And we'll see if he can find anything, or if he's going to prompt a reaction. Koikva's nearby. He did go Manta, so not going with the Radiance build. And Empire's, I feel like Empire, because of that one big misstep, and now just because they've missed opportunities, I feel like they're actually standing on some pretty tenuous ground.
Yeah, and they do have their player back. Like, it's hard to see sometimes because he just kind of trickles back in. They don't pause, so.
Yeah.
But he is back for the time being. Yoki gets scaled, but he actually gets 4-staff himself with the Aphotic Shield on top of that, so his farm is fantastic. Like, with the help of those stacks and just having a good time in the bottom lane, he's going to be well on his way to a refresher. And like I said, they do have the tools to kind of run at the Terrorblade safely. Like, Storm Spirit's fantastic in that regard. Slark is good because you can run in there but still not be that afraid of all the illusions pounding into you with the Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Of course, you only have the duration of your Shadow Dance, which isn't very long. It's only 4 seconds. So the question is, can you output enough damage to kill him in those 4 seconds? Right now, no. He doesn't have the damage.
Well, soon Slark should have. I'm going to imagine his Scotty's going to be bought right now. The Courier, never mind. And Storm actually manages to get himself a kill, but at top, Slark gets one onto Bulba as well. So, Empire with 2 very high-profile kills as they manage to bring down Koikva, farming his own jungle. And Ravage is ready. No, it's not. Yep. Yoki, 4-staff back, and there's going to be a 3-man coil. Yoki should end up dead here. Silent has to be very careful. Yoki does end up dropping, but there's the ulti from Always Wanna Fly, and that's enough to keep them at bay for the moment. But here comes Slark, and he did finish his Scotty amidst all of that. It looks like he's just waiting for a target to present itself now. And let's see if they're going to be able to get their hands on anyone. Sing Sing going for Scepter. One would imagine he could buy a Blink right now if he wanted to. But let's see. I'm surprised they're not just shoving him in and just trying to make an opening for Slark to loop around and behind. But all this time, Koikva off the map. He's got 1,200 gold on top of everything else, but he is about 2,000 gold behind the overall farm of Slark at this point.
Yeah, it is difficult fighting into the wards of Venomancer, which is one of the reasons why you picked the hero. Very good in team fights for that, and just canceling blinks and just being very, very annoying throughout time. He's actually got his axe here at about 100 or 150 gold, which is very, very good for him. Especially against a Slark that's jumping into you normally, and just doing a lot of AoE damage. So yeah, Sing Sing is going to have that, which is great. What's Bulba got? He's on his way to his Yule, so he'll have that relatively soon. Anchor Smash here for Rubik, and they're actually smoking aggressively here, looking for someone. I don't think they're going to find them, unfortunately, though, as Yoki is going to take another stack for himself and be one step closer to the refresher.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a great job of keeping these stacked and making sure that Yogi gets everything he needs. And I'm actually surprised Empire is playing a bit more aggressive. Well, looks like he's back, actually, very quickly. It's because, as you mentioned, the auto pause. But at any rate, Slark picks up a double damage, and they're going to manage to find Sing Sing. Maybe more. Yep, Arise. Actually, they didn't decide to follow it up. They're going to run right into EGM, and there's going to be the Dark Pack, the ulti. 2 more kills. Can you say 3? EGM tracked down and cleaned up, and that's all three going to their stand-in. What is here, whoever he happens to be.
Radiant's
And this is just rough, man. They're basically losing a 3-on-4.
Radiant structures
Or a 4-on-5, excuse me.
Well, yeah, I mean, Witch Doctor has been back in the game for quite some time, but
Radiant's middle
yeah, I mean, he
tower
wasn't
has
there for like the first 10, 12 minutes of the game, so yeah, the double damage is so deadly on a Slark too, because this is a hero that gets lots of agility by stealing it.
Yeah.
And because the double damage is based off of your base damage, and when you steal the agility, it becomes base damage, it actually becomes even stronger. Right, it's just going to get blown to pieces. If they have any vision of Koikma 2 up here at the top ledge, he will die as well with the Ravage being online here for Yoki. And it was looking like a glimmer of hope there for Team Tinker. That bot gank in mid, and actually here comes the Slark, who is going ham.
Yep, there's going to be the ult. And a Ravage, as well as Empire just dives to tier 3s without fear. Always want to fly, shouldn't. Nope, never mind. Aloha's actually been doing a lot of work. Slowly and surely keeping most of his teammates alive. Yep, there's the miscoil. Her in charge. And I actually feel like he's played a fairly decent Abaddon this time. I mean, again, it's subtle. It's not like these big plays. I mean, there's only so much big play potential that Abaddon has to begin with. But he's just been very well. He's managed all of the damage over time and everything else they've had to worry about very effectively. 19-8. They didn't manage to get the tier 2 off of all that. They did expend a Ravage, so Yoki probably going to reset and wait to either go take more Ancients or perhaps get ready for a Roshan attempt. But we are at a 10,000 gold differential and about 14,000 experience. So Empire finds themselves once again just past 20 minutes in the driver's seat.
Dire's top
God,
tower
the Slark
is
has a
under
BKB now. Oh, that's so scary. So now you can just not be targeted at all. Even if he is targeted or thrown up in the air or anything like that, he can just still Dark Pact it off. But if Dark Pact isn't ready, he's got the BKB. So that's going to be good for him. As I mentioned, Yoki's got to be close to that refresher. Like, he's got 3,500 gold in the bank. Here comes Slark again on his things, and there's the BKB. Silence isn't going to do anything. Yoki gets off the gush. Just kind of lower the arm a little bit for Sing Sing. One more auto attack on what is here. Does get the kill.
Continue to just play aggressive. There's the Shadow Dance. There's the Pounce that was stolen that will get him back to safety. Now he's going to turn around, go to work on Bulma. Has another Pounce. He will be Dark Pacting out of the telekinesis. And this is just a player who feels confident in his abilities and taking plenty of chances, playing very aggressively. A couple of times he's blown up in his face, but for the most part he has managed to make him count in all the ways that matter the most. Koikma is keeping pace to a certain extent. He is 1-1-1, so has basically been playing Minecraft, just hitting creeps and building stuff. But he is in range of Slark, despite how much more active the Slark has been, tallying 14 kills in a 26-minute game. And Empire has to be concerned with this. I actually feel like they haven't done enough. I feel like they need to be taking these outer tier towers like right now, and they need to shut this map off. Otherwise, Koikma is going to make them pay.
Yeah, like I mentioned, the one bad thing about this lineup, if there is anything, actually Koikma gets the Manta off from the Pounce, so he will be fine. But if Storm is there and ready, or if... Ooh, voice crack there since early in the morning. But Storm is there and ready, he definitely dies. Or if Yoki just jumps up and Ravages on top of him. But I just don't think that Team Tinker can take a team fight at all. Like, the team fight power, as I mentioned at the beginning of the draft, is just so strong with Empire. I thought the lanes were a little weird from the Witch Doctor and Abaddon. Being 4v5 early on, it was kind of weird, but the fact that he was just stacking for Yoki, who was already having a fantastic time in the laning phase, was just the icing on the cake. And was able to get some very, very good farm. And yeah, like, there's a refresher in about, what, 1,200 gold he'll have it.
Yep. After this Roshan, you're talking 500 to 800 gold. Scotty is done on Koikma, though, and usually this is, you know, if you don't go the Radiance build, Manta Scotty is about where you start to feel very threatening. If you have proper initiation and everything else out of the team. But as you said, they are playing a little disadvantage there. Arise is nowhere near a Hex or anything else he would happen to want. And in the meantime, Silent has picked up a Bloodstone. So the Bloodstone build you were talking about. How do you feel about him skipping BKB here?
I like Bloodstone a lot, especially that he doesn't really need BKB now because he's got an Aegis. So having just the extra mana pool is very nice, and yeah, I think Bloodstone's just the premier build onto the Star Spirit. you die, you can use Bloodstone to
Dire's
help your
top
team if you
tower
need
has been
to.
denied.
Just the extra damage that you get from all your mana. So I love this build.
I still worry, man. Quick is in fine shape, and if they're going to do something, they need to do it soon. And like you said, we've just seen it too many times. We've seen how this works, and we already see, like, in his illusions alone, Radiants or not, are hitting so hard that they're basically solo pushing towers. And hang on, Slark engaging onto Bulba, picked up behind his own tier 2, now going to work on Sing Sing. Sing Sing uses the ulti, and there's going to be a Ravage. Very nice phase shift, actually, from the Rise. It'll keep him safe. Sing Sing drops behind it, though, and EGM not looking like he's going to be in better shape. That's a beyond godlike streak. And a triple kill once again for Slark. They're getting kills, but they need to not give things back up. They're going to end up giving up. Oh, no, they're not. Koikva actually not able to clean that up. And now Aloha serving as bait, actually. And it looks like Team Tinker knows it. Yep, here he comes back in. Missed with the pound snap. Got him on the back. And now Arise dead again. And this is getting a little ridiculous. 18 kills in a 29-minute game for Empire stand-in. What is here? 25-9. The gold, despite Koikva's best efforts and the experience, really out of control.
Yeah, and that one death from him, honestly, was just because he didn't expect the Aphotic Shield for the Rubik. It really stifled and trumped his plans. If he knew that, if he had the information, he definitely would have died there or would have initiated the way that he did. But yeah, 18-1 and 3 for the stand-in. Quite impressive here from what is here. I tried to look at the Steam profile, but I couldn't see any kind of name that stood out to me, so I don't know who this is. But it's performing quite nicely with this team behind his back. The Abaddon keeping him up and healthy. And he's going to have an Assault Crest here in just a second, too. And Bulba is dead again. I like how he's being liberal with these BKBs, too.
Yeah. And Sing Sing will be able to TP away in his face. They do manage to catch him from behind. There's a coil. Yoki comes out and wants to try to help. And nope, he's fine. Aloha right there with him. They do get the deny on the tower at the least. And Rubik did manage to steal Pounce, but this is what I think they need to just continually pressure. And try to keep doing. Take another tier 2 and honestly think about going high ground. You've got an Aegis, so that's enough for at least one more push on the tower. But Refresher done on Tide. Speaking of, I'm not sure. I guess, whatever. He's going to hang on to the refresh. I guess he just finished it. But yeah, I mean, with 2 Ravages and a Slark that's this farm, there's no reason why they can't just go high ground.
Yep, there's no reason Silent actually TP's out to try to defend the top tower, but it gets cancelled. So always want to play us here. As I mentioned, casts are not terrible, but they're not great. I this tower taking actually a considerable amount of damage. But I still think that's a fantastic spot. Here comes the dives here from Silent.
Yep, going right for it. He does get silenced. And there's going to be a Gale. Koikva's there to try to help out. Looks like they want to just go ahead and bail out. And this is, again, just the Terrorblade effect. He's hit that point. If they can wait out meta, I mean, meta has a fairly long cooldown. If they can, yeah, it looks like that's a plan. Shove out top. Now they're going to beeline straight back down the bottom. Try to fight around that. Doesn't matter. They're going to catch Sing Sing for free. Silent, very little health. Doesn't really care. Has a Bloodstone, has an Aegis. And they're still sitting on 2 Ravages, mind you. 29, or 28-9, rather. And they did end up losing their Aegis on Silent. But I think they're going to be ready to go. Koikva spots, or is spotted by, always want to find, depending on how you look at it. And they're just trying to hold. Just trying to buy time for this Terrorblade to go, to get huge, as we've seen them do so many times. He's got 85 seconds until meta's done. He's just going to make for top lane and try to push and force him to come back again. I don't know if they're going to do that this time. BKB bought in 1 shot for Silent, and they may wait on that, then just go for real.
Yep. And Koikva did get some illusions, but unfortunately his meta wore off before he picked up the illusion room. So if he actually got the meta up there, I think maybe he gets Rax in exchange for bottom. If 2 people don't pour it up for him. But we'll see how much damage he can do. We'll see if Empire wants to respond. I think they're going to have to, because they can't afford to just trade Brax against a team that's this far behind them. It's not a good trade. So someone, if not more than one person, is going to have to TP up here. They have a glyph, but this is going to die. People moving up here.
Yep, dive on the Sing. He's dead. At the top, there's going to be the cask. And they're going to end up taking tier 3 for tier 3 at a very bare minimum. You have to be careful. Buyback now on Sing. So costly in its own right. But they did manage to run them back out, however. What is here? Playing very aggressively. Sing gets the ult off. Got 2. Got Slark and a Batten. Still 2 Ravages for Yoki. If he wants to spend, they're not going to have to. Araj just flat out feeds. Ends up giving himself up for the Abaddon. And Slark tracked down and able to pounce and actually buy a little bit more time. There's the Ravage. And he's got one more. And he is not going to use it. Yeah, looks like he just wanted to give his own body to protect the Slark. Slark's going to come back in. He's got a little bit of health. Both one-on-one quick, but it's not the right call here. And now they're both just going to try to run for it.
Ravage stole one.
Oh, yeah, he did actually get it. And he's not going to spend it just for style points. Instead, they will get the kill. And a bit of a mismanaged fight that time, if I do say so myself. As Empire going to re-engage, at least what is here is going to do so. He actually just sundered, I think. Did he just, I'm pretty sure he just dark packed and sundered, didn't he?
No, he got it off.
Didn't see his health change at all. Anyway, Sing being protected by his teammates. And this is a slippery little fish. They're not going to be able to catch him. No stuns, no interrupts. And away he goes. So 30-11. And somehow, Team Tinker not only still has all of their rack standing, they still have all of their tier 3s.
Yeah. They do have their tier 3s, and they actually got the tower up top. I think there's a little bit of miscommunication there between the Slark and the Tide. The Slark was like starting to run back into him, and Tide was like, I have another ulti, we can go on this. And then Slark went, but then he kind of walked away afterwards. So it's a little bit of miscommunication in that juncture. And I believe, is Ravage still up, ready to go for the... Yeah, Rubik still has Ravage, so... There are ways back into this. I mean, god damn, how many times have we seen in the Eastern scene in particular games like this where Terrorblade still won? And there's been, I think that there was 2 times at least where I was like, oh, there's no way. No, this is the game where Terrorblade can't come back. There's no way. There's no way. And he did every single time. We'll have to see if Koiko can live up to the Chinese counterparts here, the Terrorblade pickers.
I completely agree with you, man. I mean, it's you just can't count it out. Like in any other game, you look at this, you go, psh, 15,000 gold advantage, 30,000 XP. This one's done. This is Terrorblade on the map. I don't think it's done by any stretch. And honestly, I actually feel a sense of urgency for Empire. They need to take this last tier 2. Maybe wait on a Roshan. It should be back up in like 60 seconds or so. And then they need to go high ground. They need to stop this. Otherwise, Koikva's a phenomenal farmer even by the best standards. I mean, the guy... he's got 5,400 gold on him right now, man. And despite the fact that his team is trailing by 19 kills, and that he has only been involved in 2 kills and 2 assists, he's still right on par with a Slark that is 21-5. That's how well this guy farms.
Now, I wonder if he buys a BKB here for Terrorblade. Like, you want to get Butterfly? Oh, I heard an Orchid's actually onto Bulba. A silence run, and then he pops the BKB. I feel so bad for Bulba because they're expending so much to kill him, like, every single time.
Silent being pursued, got silenced. Always when a flies below him. And, yep, got a little bit of mana to him if it was needed. Not going to be the case as they're not going to pursue into the dark.
Quickfoot goes for more of a greedy build. He wants the Butterfly, which I was like, you want to get the Butterfly, you don't want to have to buy a BKB, but I think you need BKB this game. Because if he gets ravaged, even with his illusions out, I think he just dies. And if he gets, like, if he already cast the Manta and then gets silenced too, he has no way of casting the Sunder, and he just is very susceptible to death. But BKB kind of assures the fact that he can always get the Sunder off. So, playing a little bit, it's not really cocky, it's the damage output that he wants with his illusions having extra agility. And I don't blame him for that, but I do feel like BKB could be a little bit more safe. We'll have to see how well he can split push with this extra damage that illusions will have, this mass amounts of agility from Butterfly.
I actually really like this pickup from Silent. He just bought a Demon Edge after picking up the Aegis. And I think it's because Empire recognizes what we've been talking about. They cannot continue to leave Koipa on the map to farm. Like, they need to close this game out in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in a very precarious situation. So instead of going utility, instead of going typical Storm Items, he goes, no, I just want more right click. I want to right click harder so we can end the game right now.
Yeah, and maybe he actually saw Koipa going for the butterfly too, or just anticipated it. But I've talked about this too from Storm. I just talked about it last game too, where the brunt of your damage is coming out from auto attacks with overload. That's it. It's not so much the damage from the static remnant. Late game, it is kind of like these long range 1500 plus mana usages of the ball lightning.
Right.
But primarily it's just auto attacks with your overload. And if you're not connecting with those with evasion, then you become your damage output gets hindered significantly. See, he needs to make sure that those auto attacks are connecting, and Slark should really get an MKB too. I think if they get dual MKBs, then it's going to be a lot easier to contain this Terrorblade.
Well, so far as MKB, he only needs about another 600 gold and he'll have it. And yeah, I would put a clock on Empire and say if their next high ground push doesn't take at least one set of racks, they're going to be in trouble. Like, they're just flat out going to be in trouble. Despite what the graphs say, despite what the metrics say, it doesn't matter despite how quickly gold is likely to die here. Silent. Vortexes him back. Got him. Finishes him with the remnant. Because cool guys don't watch their kills. But looks like they're about ready to go. Yeah, and Slark's buying his MKB as we speak. He's got 2 javelins already bought, and he's going to walk up, I would imagine. No, I can't imagine they go high ground here without it. But if he walks up and buys the Demon Edge, he's set. Up, jump on the EGM. Down he goes. There's a Ravage. It's actually phase shifted by the puck. Sing Sing, not so fortunate. There's a BKB used out of Silent. Ghost Scepter on Sing Sing keeps him alive a little bit longer. Yoki pulling the trigger a little too quick that time. And we can see the damage output of Koipa's no joke. They only really got one. And I don't know why they're trying to do this without an MKB. I don't understand it. The javelins, yeah. There are 4 javelins on the courier right now. 1 full MKB and 2 javelins on the way out to complete an MKB. So why did they go at all? Why did they not wait until right now?
Well, they can still go. They have another ulti up from Yoki. They can heal him up with urns and mist coils from Aloha Dance, and yeah, that's what they're going to do. And, oh yeah, the Witch Doctor heal as well. And Aegis is still up on Storm. Yeah, they're going to go again.
This time they're going sans 1 Ravage, though.
That is down, though. And actually, Koipa's up top right now to try to counter push.
Well, they need to make it work. These illusions will just maul through their racks. There's going to be the jump ahead from Silent. Grab EGM. Interrupted with the Yules. Once again tossed up. And they're doing a great job of buying time. They only get the tier 3. And they need more than this. But they got to send people back. I mean, look at top. There's just no way they can leave Koipa unaccounted for. And now, we're going to see Arise picked off once again. Behind that, Slark able to secure another kill. And looked like they were going to be able to chase them back out. But I think they're going to end up getting racks. And yeah, Koipa. Oh, wow. Great Sunder. And that's going to be enough to secure a kill. Only borrowed time saves Aloha Dance. However, Silent now back up off of his Aegis. Koipa brought in and cleaned up. Godlike streak. So going to be a buyback. Does Koipa even have buyback? He does. And a double kill for Silent. There's the buyback on the Elder type. And Sing comes in and does manage to hit the Gale and get a tick of Poison Sting as well. Silent just trying to hustle, but Sing not about to let him go for free. He's run around the bend. He's going to solo Ravage. And Sing once again goes Sceptering. And they get Silent anyway. Why didn't Silent run?
Well, I think, again, there was a little bit of miscommunication right there. He was running away when the Ravage came in, and I think if he stayed there and got an extra 2 auto attacks off onto him while the Ravage was down, then it would have prevented the Ghost Scepter from even happening from Venomancer. So miscommunication with the Ravages. I feel bad for Yoki because I feel like he's making the correct plays here, but people aren't responding. That was a big misplay by the Slark. Like, big misplay. This is why you pick Slark against Terrorblade, is because you cannot be Sundered. Because before the Sunder comes up, you just pop Shadow Dance and he has no target, at least on the Slark. He could have targeted someone else, but he got the Sunder up on the Slark, and then he still got the Dark Pact or the Shadow Dance off, but by that time he only had like 150 HP and was killed by AoE damage. So it was a big misplay by the Slark actually.
Well, let's see how Empire wants to reset. They gave up an Aegis for all that. Boots of Travel on the way from Silence. Silence going to be 6 slotted very shortly. The golden experience, though, heavily in favor of Empire, but honestly, these just don't matter, man. Like, I'm flipping back and forth between the net worth and the XP. We're seeing that it doesn't matter that much. They still have racks up. And Quikva is sufficiently farmed now that he is going. I mean, he's just one of those heroes. It's like the Spectre, just in terms of, 25,000 gold on Terrorblade is better than almost 25,000 gold on almost any other hero, just because of how he works. And speaking of, as soon as he decides to sell his Quelling Blade, he will be 6 slotted.
Yeah, I still think that Slark can contest very nicely in the late game, but he just got to activate that Shadow, or the Shadow Dance before the Center comes out. It's that simple. And Silent's going to be a monster with this, with all of his items too. And I think next year he probably should go for a Lincoln to be quite effective, or even a Sheep. I still think Empire's in a great
Radiant's
spot,
top tower
and with
has
double
fallen.
Ravage online once they have it in 20 seconds, about, give or take, yeah. Yeah, again, as long as the Shadow Dance comes out at an appropriate time, I don't think that will happen again.
Well, finally the last outer, excuse me, my goodness, the last outer tier tower does end up dropping. And they do have down some aggressive wards. Now, them keeping Quikva pinned up is going to be of huge importance. It just doesn't matter, though. Quikva's got his bots, so, it's irrelevant. They just need the high ground, and they need to do it smartly. They've got a Shiva's up on Yoki now, which is nice against the Terrorblade. Abaddon has a Ghost Scepter. And Scepter on Always Want to Fly sure is handy-dandy. But they need to put the pieces together. They've got a great lead. They've got a good composition. We just need to see them get it together very quickly. Otherwise, again, we have seen games that were this lopsided go completely in the opposite direction once you hit this 45-50 minute mark with Terrorblade. We've seen it.
Yeah, but Andy has a BKB, which is fantastic for him. Does he have buyback too? Oh, action on the EGM. They keep going on these supports.
Yep. Down 50 seconds. That ward that was dropped, paying for itself there. And they will go ahead and de-ward it. They know that's the only reason he was able to get that kill. One set of racks finally down. And Quikva is hitting hard. 2-man Gale from Sing Sing. BKB prompted. And Yoki coming forward, just being enough to scare them off. Quikva uses his own BKB, should be wearing off shortly. And they're trying to find a way in. There's going to be a nice open from Sing Sing. Got 3. There's the Ravage trying to turn this around. Yoki gets off the Shivas. They do bring down Sing Sing, but Yoki refreshed. And they're just going to have to wait this out now. However, at top, Slark chopping wood where he can. Able to pounce and Dark Pact his way back to safety. Just getting one range racks, though, again, not quite enough.
We'll see if they go again, though. The Metamancer's down, does have buyback, but the biggest thing is BKB's down for Terrorblade, and his meta's wearing off right now. I think that this is the most important opening you have. Is fighting in the TV meta is just too difficult.
EGM, Vortex, and there's going to be another Ravage. That one got 3. They get Bulba off the back of it. Now they need to try to pick a target. Silent got hit with the Gale. There's going to be a nice ulti, though. Well played from Always Want to Fly. Buybacks immediately from the puck and the Terrorblade. And they're going to try to come back out, but that buyback on both of those heroes is crippling. There's a beautiful ulti from Sing Sing, but is there enough follow-up damage? Arise caught in the middle. Sing Sing's down again. And Quikva, hard as he's hitting, and as low health as Tinker happens to be, can't do it by himself. GG. So, Tinker made it into the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. But they're booted out in very lopsided fashion in both Game 1 and Game 2. As Team Empire, connection issues be damned, finds themselves heading for round 2, where they'll meet the Sneaky Nyx Assassins for a chance to make it to the Western Playoff Finals.